Hello, good morning, everybody. We are beginning a new month. It's on September, and we are gonna know the agenda. The agenda is gonna be the welcome, second, the reflection, third, emotional content. The first step is not gonna be the song about or reading, but it's gonna be the national anthem because we are celebrating 199 years on this month about independence. Time to read and one immigrant inventor. We are gonna finish our pages 60 and 61, the last pages of this reading. 6 step contents, the best jobs ever. 7 content practice book, page 46. We are beginning a new unit number 4, and finally we are gonna have the question and answer. This is gonna be the last class before our English review before our exam. Yeah. We are gonna have this review the next week. Well, we are gonna start. Let's enjoy it.
What are values? These are customs, ideals, or standards that people choose to live by within their particular culture. For example, a group of people may have a religious value that states it's wrong to drink alcohol. Another group of young people may believe that you gain status or prestige within a group if you steal a car. These people hold the value that it's tough to steal. A certain value may be seen as good or acceptable by one group of people. Other people outside that group or culture may think that this particular value is bad or unacceptable. Sometimes values that a community adopts represent what the people with the most power think is right, and those people without much power may disagree. Not everyone in a community may agree on what is an acceptable value or how that value should be applied. Values are not necessarily stated as rules to live by. Often they are just inferred, and it is understood by everybody within the particular group that this is the way things should be.
Our reflection to this class is gonna be, to live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong. If you want to success, if you want to increase your knowledge, you don't have to fear. You don't have to fear if you are wrong. Remember, if you are wrong, you are gonna learn. You don't have to think what are gonna be others think about you. You have to think that you are gonna success by yourself. And sometimes we fail or we are wrong, but we are learning. Remember that our life we are learning. And this is gonna be our advice to you, our reflection for this day. Let's continue with our class. Right now we are gonna listen our national anthem, and we are gonna listen with respect. If you want to sing the song, you can do it. This time we are gonna sing the national anthem. This is not gonna be our son of our reading packs. Remember that on September we celebrate our independence, and on this year we are gonna celebrate 199 years from independence. For that reason, as you can see here, the color of the presentation is blue and white, because there are the colors of our flag. With respect value, we are gonna listen our national anthem, and if you wanna sing up your hand, you can do it. Well, remember that our country suffered a lot to get their independence, or the country from Central America suffered a lot. Here we are. We are gonna celebrate 199, and the next year we are gonna celebrate 200 years from our independence. On every class that we are gonna have on this month, on September, we are gonna talk about some and we are gonna know some facts about our country, our independence in country. Well, we are gonna continue with our reading. We will finish our reading about N1 today, and then we are gonna start to work in reading comprehension question exercises. The pages that we are gonna have today are 60 and 61. Sorry, here it's 60 and 61. Let's listen. Let's listen the story about and when we are going to continue the reading.
Challenges and fulfill his dreams. Wang left his home country of China to make a new home in the United States. He worked hard and persevered to become a great inventor and a successful businessman. Even with all his success, he never forgot his cultural roots. Student engineer. An Wang was born in Shanghai, China in 1920. He had 4 brothers and sisters. Wang's parents believed that learning was important. They encouraged their children to work hard in school and to appreciate education. Wang's father was an English teacher. He helped his children learn the English language. Wang's education enabled him to be successful. Wang became interested in math at a very young age. He also found technology fascinating. He built a radio while studying at one of the best high schools in China. At that time, radio technology was new and exciting. In 1936, Wang continued his schooling at Chiao-Tung University in Shanghai. The school had excellent science programs. There, Wang studied engineering. 1 year later, his life changed. In 1937, Japan invaded China. The Japanese moved in to take over Shanghai. Many Chinese lost their lives in the fighting and the bombing of the city. Wang's parents and one of his sisters were killed. But Wang did not let his sadness defeat him. In 1940, he graduated from the university with a degree in electrical engineering. After that, Wang taught at the university for a year. Then he worked as a radio engineer for the Chinese government. Immigration to the United States. In 1892, the United States government passed a law that did not allow Chinese people to immigrate to this country. During World War II, this law was changed. In 1945, Wang learned about a special program to send engineers to study in the United States. He applied to the program and was accepted. Wang left China and immigrated to the United States. He studied applied physics at Harvard University in Massachusetts. He earned a Master of Science degree in 1946. 2 years later, he received a PhD. This doctoral degree is the highest degree available at a university. It took hard work for Wang to finish his degree in such a short time. In 1949, Wang married Lorraine Chu. She was also an immigrant. She had come to the United States to go to college. Wang and his wife became United States citizens in 1955. They had 3 children. Discovery, invention, and success. At Harvard University, Wang was introduced to computers. He worked with Howard Aiken, a professor at the university. Aiken had invented one of the earliest computers. At that time, large metal drums were used to store information from computers. Aiken asked Wang to find a better way to store information. Many scientists believed that magnets could help computers remember information without taking up much space. Wang used math and engineering to find a solution to store computer information better. He invented a magnetic pulse transfer controlling device. This invention became important for the development of magnetic core memory. Communication on the inside. Wang's invention would be the key to computer memory for more than 20 years. Wang received a patent for his invention in 1955. It was the first of more than 35 patents that he received. Wang Laboratories. In 1951, An Wang started Wang Laboratories. He sold his memory technology to an American company called IBM. He used the money from the sale to expand his own company. In 1964, Wang Laboratories produced one of the first electronic calculators. It was called the Wang 300. The central part of the Wang 300 was so big that it had to sit on the floor. It was connected to smaller desktop calculators. Wang also developed a word processing system. It was far better than the other systems that were available at the time. Some people had negative views about Chinese people and their ethnicity. Wang heard many stereotypes of Chinese people in business. This made him work harder to prove that an immigrant could be successful in business. He relied on the traditional Chinese values taught to him by his parents. He said that those were the values that had helped him achieve success. He also kept with Chinese tradition by including his family in the ownership of his company. Sharing the wealth. Wang was very generous with his money and gave to many causes. He gave money to build a clinic at a hospital in Boston. He also gave money to set up a school for computer education at Boston University. It was called the Wang Institute. He donated millions of dollars to colleges in Massachusetts so they could educate students from other countries. In the 1980s, he gave money to restore Boston's Performing Arts Center. Its name was changed to the Wang Center for the Performing Arts. Wang never forgot his Chinese heritage. He wanted to improve the lives of other Chinese Americans. He gave $1 million to help fund Chinese studies at Harvard University, and Wang funded scholarships for Chinese students. He also built a factory in Boston's Chinatown for many workers. Honoring Dr. Wang. An Wang was honored for his work and his giving spirit. 13 colleges gave him honorary degrees. In 1986, Wang was awarded the United States Medal of Liberty by President Ronald Reagan. The medal recognizes the contributions of immigrants in the United States. Wang received the medal at a ceremony near the Statue of Liberty. In 1988, he also became a member of the National Inventors Hall of Fame. An Wang died in 1990. He made many contributions to technology. He also contributed a lot to American society. Dr. An Wang will always be remembered as a great inventor and a generous person. He was a person who was very proud of his culture.
Well, with this we finish our reading. We are going to check it out pages 60 and 61. I will have two questions for you. The first one on page 60. What did An Wang never forget? What did An Wang never forget? He never forget his roots, his ethnicity, where he comes from. Then 61. What award did An Wang receive in 1986? What award did An Wang receive in 1986? He received the Medal of Liberty, United States Medal of Liberty, by President Ronald Reagan. Only few people received this medal, And imagine that he born in another country and he received it. It's very important to say that when we travel to another country, we have to think about our roots. Well, we are going to continue with our class student book. Well, we are going to start our unit number 4. Here we have the vocabulary that we are going to use. It says the best jobs ever. Label the picture with the names of the jobs. What we have here, different kind of jobs. For example, I will say only one and you will identify the others. A stuntman. What is a stuntman? Acting the dangerous scenes in a movie. Is the number 1 here, stuntman, letter G. Well, sorry, the others you will discover. I will give you a chance to you discover, and if you have a question about this vocabulary, you can ask me. Well, next, def defining relative classes. That is gonna be the definition of our class. The rule of thumb: a magician is a person who does magic tricks. Is the meaning of a magician. That is a relative class. It's a person who does magic tricks. What is it? A magician. Magician. And it's a person who goes into space. Astronaut. A person is a person who does dangerous things in movies. A stunt women. Is a person who finds golf balls underwater. Golf balls diver. Number 5 is a person who works in a national park. It's a park ranger. 6. It's a person who works with animals. It's a person who works with animals. It's a zookeeper. 7. It's a person who makes things for kids to play with. It's a person who makes things for kids to play with. Toy designer. And finally, it's a person who cleans ground from the sidewalk. It's a gumbuster. What are we gonna do? We are gonna listen and identify again. Is the track 35? Be ready with your student book. Remember that we are working page 49.
Best jobs ever. Track 35. Listen and name the jobs.
I work with animals. I take care of them, feed them, and make sure they're healthy. We keep information about the animals on a computer, such as their height and weight, what they eat, and when they get sick. I don't deal with the public in my job, just animals. I like that.
I have a fantastic job. I go to private parties on weekends, or I work in a theater and I perform my tricks. My favorite trick is when I cut my assistant in half. I don't really cut her in half, but it sure looks scary.
People chew a lot of gum. And why not? Gum's delicious. The problem is, they don't always put it in a trash can. Instead, they drop it on the sidewalk, and then it's very difficult to remove. We have to use water at high pressure to clean it off. And do you know something funny? The gum smells great when we blast it with water.
When I was at school, I didn't like wearing a uniform. But now I wear a uniform every day on my job, and I love it. I work outside all day in all weather, but that's okay. I sometimes ride a horse, but I usually drive a car. I work in a really big park.
When you watch a movie and you see movie stars jumping off buildings or driving in fast cars, the actors aren't really doing those things. It's people like me. I'm not famous, but it's an exciting job.
A lot of people like playing golf, but they aren't all very good. And when bad golfers play, they lose a lot of golf balls in lakes and ponds. So I put on my diving suit and I dive into the water to look for golf balls. Then we recycle the balls so people can use them again, and maybe lose them again. It's a fun job.
First, I sketch an idea on paper with a pencil. Then, I work on a computer to really develop the idea.
Where do my ideas for toys come from? Well, I make things that I'd like to play with, and I talk to kids to find out what they're interested in. This is such a cool job.
When I was a kid, science was my favorite school subject. And you can't do this job without understanding science. Mostly it's fun to be in space, but it's hard work, and the food is kind of boring. I work alone a lot, but I never feel lonely. I can always see Earth through the window.
Well, we already listened about different kind of job that we can combine. Listen, what is a gum buster? It's a person who cleans gum from the sidewalk. I didn't classify the jobs in your notebook. This is an exercise. People who work outside, use a computer, wear special clothes, work with animals. Do they complete the definition? A firefighter is a person who save, save, save cats on the scale. Well, a pilot is a person that is a person who flying planes. A teacher is a person who teach classes. Remember, we are using who because this is gonna be the instruction to create definite relative classes. Yeah. For the reason we have to make a meaning of or a definition of every profession using who. A firefighter is a person who. A pilot is a person who. A teacher is a person who. And to understand better, we are gonna move to practice book. The first page of our practice book, unit number 4, is gonna be page 46. And what we have here, we have a very simple exercise. And the first exercise says, one more time, let me check. Look at the picture and find 10 jobs. What we have here. You are going to identify pilot. Let's check it out. Another doctor. Here we have doctor. Look at this. Doctor. And what are we going to do there? Next, we are going to create a relative class. It says, let me see, works in a school, goes into space, works in a national park, does 3, performs in a movie, flies a plane. No, it doesn't appear as doctor. Let me see another. It's gonna appear astronaut. Yeah. Oh, here we have one. Bet. A bet. B-E-T. Bet. What we have here? A vet is a person who helps 6 animals. Well, we have another. Park ranger. Park ranger. Here we have a park ranger. Let me see, we have the definition. A park ranger is a person who works in a national park. Well, this was the class. If you couldn't find anyone, you can ask me. Here we have another magician. Yeah, a magician is a person who does tricks. Well, this was the class. If you have a question, you can ask me. And remember that we are gonna have our review class before our exam the next week on Tuesday, I think. Check it out, the schedule. And remember, if you have a question, you can use the chat, or you can send me an email to oscar0189@gmail.com.